Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am PJ. This is take two because you deserve it. Yesterday, got together with some of the brothers in the crew, and we had a class. One of the brothers taught it on how to properly pack a rucksack. Yes, you don't just throw crap in there. How to properly adjust the various straps and things on it, and so on. And then we went for a hike, a ruck. And when we got done with it, we're just standing around chit-chatting. And a couple of the brothers brought their bug out bags. And I was pleasantly surprised with how light they were. However, I wonder if they would be that light if I put them on exercise and said we're going out next weekend. To the point. For 13 years, I hosted the National Winter Bug Out Bag Exercise. It was actually conceptualized by our very own Mosby's Men Ozarks. I think that's what he calls himself here. It was actually his idea. And I think he went on all of them but one. We did 13 of them. And 13 years. And basically, I would tell people, hey, we're doing this event for 4 days. Here, it was typically January, February. It's trying to make it cold. The thought process being if you can survive in the cold, everything else is gravy. And for most people, that's the truth. And then I invited people from all over the country, and they would come. And we would meet up typically on a Thursday. We'd hike in, and we'd set up camp. And then we would typically hike out on Sunday. And I tried to do it on 3-day weekends. The guys and women came, and kids even came to a couple. They packed way too much stuff. Now, we were here on Shofar Mountain for 12 of the 13 of them, and it's fairly rough terrain. And at the time, we didn't have any roads or anything like that. It was just woods and rocks and mountainside. And we would park the cars in a pasture, and we would hike less than a mile as a group of about 20, sometimes more, sometimes less, but about 20. And it would take forever to go a mile. And at the end of that mile, when we got to the area where I had decided, we're going to set up here, I told people, all right, just somewhere generally in this area, pick a place to set up your hooch and build a fire. I gave them safety classes and things like that. The people were wiped out. Many people were wiped out. All their clothes, they're taken off because it started out they were a little chilly, and now they're like standing in t-shirts with sweat, and they're like, oh, my ruck is too heavy. And then I would try to make a teaching point with them. So put yourself in that position. The whole purpose of a bug out bag is to assist you in getting from where you are, because you don't want to be here anymore, to where you want to be. That's the whole purpose of a bug out bag. It is to allow you to do that. And so anything that detracts from your getting here, which entails speed, you want to get there as quickly as you can, because this is bad and this is good. I want to get there. Anything that detracts from that is bad. And as I told the brethren yesterday, I think we actually developed some bad habits on the winter bug out bag exercise. Because like I said, most of them, we just set up one camp for the 3.5 days. And guys loved it, and gals. People loved it. And, they'd set up their perfect hooch, and because we have a couple rocks here, they'd build these beautiful rock reflectors, build a fire in there. It would reflect the heat into their hooch. They'd cook a little this, a little that, heat up a little this and a little that. One guy built this cool chair one time, out of big pieces of, wood. And it's like a throne that he was sitting on. It was cool. And so then people that were on this event would be like, hey, what knife is that? Oh man, this is the Mora 2000. I really like it. And here's why. Can I see it? Yeah. And then they look at it and they go, wow, da 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 da. So, how long have you had it? Blah, blah. And, you just kick around, you start talking about gear. Where'd you buy it? How much did it cost? And then the next year, that person would show up and they'd have a Mora, or whatever, just whatever. This cup, this stove, this sleeping pad, this tarp, whatever. And people got to, and I told people for the event, hey, this is your chance to test your gear. Bring the gear you think you're going to take. And I told everybody, bring extra gear in your vehicle. And if you forget something in your, you get to your campsite and you're like, oh crap, I don't have a pot in my bug out bag, or, whatever, we call it the walk of shame. You can walk back to your vehicle, like a mile there, not even sometimes, and walk back with whatever you forgot. If your sleeping bag on your bob is too little and you get really cold, you're like, oh, I don't want to be that cold. Go back to your car and pick up the other sleeping bag you brought, right? And people would do that, and we had people do the walk of shame. But it allows you in a safe, controlled environment to test your gear. Well, I carried a stool, a little folding stool. They sell them made by Coleman, like aluminum legs. We spray painted them, and they fit nice over the outside of an Alice large rucksack, or I guess an Alice medium too. Fits around the frame, and you can take it off. It weighs nothing. Open it up, and you can sit down. You don't have to sit all the way down on the ground on your knees, and it keeps your butt off the wet ground. And next thing you know, everybody's putting chairs in their bug out bags and bringing them and stuff. And my bug out bag, back then, I was fitter and younger then. 80 pounds. 80 pounds. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You do not need a chair in your bug out bag. Again, the concept, you are trying to get here. And so you walk until you can walk no more. And then you lay down, you refuel, you eat, you drink, you take care of your feet, and you get some shut-eye. When you wake up, you're not cooking a beautiful mountain house breakfast with 4 pots, and I'm making some mocha, and I'm gonna carve a feather stick, and you ain't got time for that because you want to be here. You're gonna get up, throw something down your yap, and get moving. And I figured this out about halfway through the 13 years. And I said, really, and I would have a talk with people at the campout, and I'd say, really, that's what we would do. We would walk until we could walk no more. So, I can't take another step. We'd set up a hooch if we needed one, like if it's raining. If it's not, we would just lay down and go to sleep, and then get up. And as soon as you get up, get moving again. And I said, if we were going to do a real bug out bag exercise, that's what we would do, and no one would come. Right? No one would come on it because that's called backpacking. And very few people relatively backpack. And even backpackers carry more stuff than they need. There's a lot of good videos on the Appalachian Trail of people, because everybody's got their phone, and many people vlog their Appalachian Trail experience. And early on, somewhere around Springer Mountain, there's a place, and I don't know where it is because I haven't done it, but it's like a big deck, and there's a store in there and stuff. A lot of people are starting out there. It might be Springer Mountain. And all the people who, I've through hiked the AT 15 times, and everybody knows my name, and they're a bit arrogant, and they have everybody dump out their rucksacks, and they're like, you're not going to need this, you're not going to need this, you're not going to need this, you're not going to need this. And they're right. But people don't believe it, and they put it all back in their rucksack. I was talking recently, I watched the Eco Challenge Fiji again, and you can tell the novice teams, and just to get into Eco Challenge, you're not a novice at adventure racing. I mean, you're not a novice at pushing yourself. You don't get in. But you can tell, relatively speaking, top runners, you might not even make it by how much stuff they have. They have huge rucksacks, and the guys, gals who are going to win, they have little rucksacks. They don't carry much at all. They also never sleep, the winners. So how do you, and so let me get back to the point I made in the very beginning of this video. So these guys showed up yesterday for this, boy, I need talking fluid. For this training event, and I was pleasantly surprised in the weight of their bug out bags. But I bet you if I told them, hey, we're going to go on a bug out bag exercise for 4 days and 2 months, they would repack their bobs, nothing wrong with that, but they would add all this crap. You don't need it. And the only way you're really going to learn what you don't need is by doing it, right? Get out there and do it. It's amazing what becomes unessential gear when you're 4 days into an exercise where you're just walking and walking and walking and walking up and down mountains, up and down mountains. It's like, I don't need this. This is way too heavy. Yeah, and I carry it every day here because I'm not. But you don't need this. And the things people think they need, they just don't know. There's that phrase out there. It's kind of cute. I don't really like cutesy phrases. The more you know, the less you need. The less you need, the less you need. So what am I saying? You need to lighten your loads. You need to go through, you need to start taking, come on, it's beautiful weather in most of the country. You should be spending at least a weekend a month, and ideally, 2 a month, where you go out and camp with your bug out bag. Camp with your bug out bag. If you can, hike and camp with your bug out bag. And it's a simple thing. You can, drive to a place, a state park, a wildlife management area, a national forest, dun, 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 dun. You can drive there on a weekend morning or, long weekend, short weekend, whatever. Park your car early, get up early and do this so you got everything ready the week before. Hike. If you're new, hike a couple hours, stop, set up camp. Next day when you get up, pack up, hike back until you can do, distance, until you can get up to walking 10 to 15 miles, that one day, set up camp and walk back. Once you start doing that, you're going to figure out what you don't need. And I guess my final point, because I made it yesterday, your bug out bag, in my opinion, should look a lot more like an ultralight backpacker's rig. And there's all kinds of stuff on the internet and YouTube about ultralight backpacking. It should look a lot more like that and a lot less like, Delta, SEAL Team 6, Dev Crew, Commando, Loadout. Gang, your point is not to fight zombies all through this battle and build a bushcraft camp and build a cabin. And your point is to get here where you can do all that stuff. But you got to get there. All this in the middle, danger, danger, Will Robbins. That's my advice to you. Did I say you should pack like an ultralight backpacker? I did not. I said you should pack a lot more like one. I know people who have 3 guns for their bug out kit. The gun I always carry, a spare, and my rifle. Matter of fact, I was just talking to a guy yesterday who had that. Gang, that's ridiculous. You don't need that. You don't need that. All right, I am interested in your thoughts and why you think you absolutely need this thing in your bug out bag. And I challenge you, start living out of it. Start doing events where you hike a long way. Not where you just get out of the car, set up your bug out bag or walk, less than an hour and pull everything out of it and set up this beautiful camp. Move, move, move. That's the point of your bug out bag. Okay, I think I belabored the point enough. Lighten your load. All right. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you out there.